Hi guys, welcome back to Get Your Play Online. My name is MacKenzie, and today we are going to be making some edible Play-Doh. First, we are going to be making this really fun cotton candy Play-Doh. This one is a little bit stiffer, but it's really fun to play with. And then we are going to be making ice cream Play-Doh out of frosting. I think it looks like ice cream. It's really fun to play with. This one is really soft and really fluffy, and they are just so much fun to play with. These are a great activity for some of our younger viewers, from about preschool on up to about 2nd or 3rd grade. You'll have a lot of fun with this one. This one is really sweet, and you can eat all of the ingredients that we use today. And this is just really fun to feel the different textures and to see a lot of different colors. It's really fun to look at. So today what we are going to be using to make these is I have a really big bowl for our frosting or ice cream Play-Doh. And then I have a microwave safe dish for our marshmallow Play-Doh or our cotton candy Play-Doh. And then I have pink and blue food coloring. I have liquid and a gel. The liquid may work a little bit better if you don't want to spend as much time kneading it, but I really like the gel as well. We're going to be using some regular sized marshmallows. If you don't have regular sized marshmallows, all you have to do is use about 6 mini marshmallows for each marshmallow that I use. And then I have my powdered sugar, some regular vanilla frosting, and then I have some olive oil for my hands. So since we're going to be eating this, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to wash my hands really quick, just to make sure that my hands are really clean. And that's always the first thing that we want to do if we are going to be making something that we're going to eat. I'm just going to wash my hands all over. Get them really soapy and bubbly. Making sure I'm using warm water. And I'm just going to dry them really quick. Alright, so the first one that we are going to make is we are going to be making our marshmallow Play-Doh. So, I am going to be making 2 batches of this because we're making 2 different colors and we're going to swirl them together. So, I am using 8 marshmallows, just like that. And then I'm going to put them in the microwave for about 15 seconds. When you grab this out of the microwave, make sure you be really careful because it can be really hot. So if you're a little bit younger, maybe ask mom or dad to help you with this step, just to be safe. They're not quite puffy enough, so I'm actually going to put them in for a few more seconds because we want them to be really big and puffy. I'm just going to watch them get really puffy. And there they go. So they should be pretty puffy. Then we are going to grab a spoon. You're actually going to need 2 spoons today. And then I am going to be adding about half a cup of powdered sugar into my marshmallows. So we're just going to be adding a little bit at a time. It points you down so you can see it a little bit better. And we're just going to mix it. Mix it as best as you can with the spoon. Kind of fold it. And it's going to kind of be sticky. once you kind of have the marshmallows mostly coated, we are going to add just a little bit of olive oil onto our hands just to make sure that the marshmallows don't stick to our hands as much. So you just need just a drop. I'm just going to do just a drop onto my hands and rub it kind of all over. We're just going to take this Play-Doh and set this one to the side, set my spoon to the side. I'm just going to grab it and kind of fluff it out. Adding some powdered sugar. It's kind of stretching it like this. I'm going to add some more powdered sugar. I have quite a bit of powdered sugar left in my bowl. So that's what I'm adding. I haven't added any more from my big canister yet. But this one you don't need too much powdered sugar because the marshmallows kind of already have quite a bit of sugar in them, so it kind of helps it to stick together. You basically just need the powdered sugar to help it not be really sticky. I'm just going to fold it on in there. Still sticking to my hands a little bit, so I'm going to add more powdered sugar to the top. Just fold it in. And see how stretchy this one is? It's really stretchy at first, and it's really fun to play with. And it is still slightly warm, but it's not burning my hands. So that's the kind of temperature we want it to stay at. This one, when it gets too cold, it gets really hard. So you want to make sure that you don't put it in the fridge. And this one only stays really fun to play with for about an hour if you're continually playing with it. Otherwise, it tends to get really hard. If you want to keep playing with this, you can put it in the microwave for about 5 seconds, and then it should get a little bit more soft. And just stretching it out, and then I am going to add a little bit more olive oil to my hands because the Play-Doh is kind of sticking to my hands a little bit. And it makes the Play-Doh kind of harder to work with. All right, add just a little bit more powdered sugar to my Play-Doh. And make sure you're doing this, adding the powdered sugar slowly. If you add it too fast, it can get your Play-Doh can get really hard really fast, and then it won't be as fun to play with. So it is going to still be a little bit sticky, but this is kind of the consistency that we want. We want it to kind of stretch and then kind of break, and that's the consistency that you'll want. I kind of coat this with powdered sugar. See how I'm just flipping it in my bowl and coating it. There we go. And this is going to help our food coloring to mix in a little bit better. So for the first one, I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to put 1 or 2 drops of blue food coloring in there. We're just going to mix it until we see all of this turn blue. Just kind of twist it and turn it. Break it apart. And it's really cool. It makes a really cool color if you don't mix it all the way. See how I kind of have, I don't know if you can quite see it, but I have some marbling in there. Makes super cool colors when you mix the two together. So I am going to coat this in powdered sugar again, and then I'm gonna leave it to the side, and then I'm gonna rinse my bowl out. Dry it, dry my hands a little bit. And then I'm going to make another batch of this because we're going to make the pink one now. So, 8 marshmallows. Set those to the side. We're going to put it in. Make sure you're watching it. Watch it till it gets really get fluffy. And mine took about 20 seconds last time. It just depends on how quick your microwave heats things up. We're just going to watch until they expand. And looks like they're done. See, they're kind of a little bit fluffier. Yeah, they're good and fluffy. I'm going to take some more powdered sugar. Pour it in there, about half a cup. If you want to use measuring cups to get a little bit more of an accurate half a cup, that's really fine. I just kind of eyeball it. It should cover your marshmallows pretty well. Now they're kind of sticking together. So I'm going to add some powdered sugar onto my hands. I'll wash my hands off just a little bit. Got some marshmallows sticking to them. See, it's kind of sticky. Just a drop. See my hands? We're going to do the same thing as last time, and we are just going to knead it and fold it. And just mix it all together. Keep mixing, stretching. Keep adding powdered sugar to it. It's pretty fluffy, it's pretty light. It looks really like cotton candy, I think. It's so fun to play with. You're going to have so much fun playing with this. Mix it all up. This one is not as sticky as my last one. Sometimes that happens. Just keep stretching it and folding it together. And squish it in your hands to kind of help. And there we go. Add some more powdered sugar. And just keep stretching and pulling. I'm going to roll it in the powdered sugar now and fold it together and get it ready for the food coloring. There, and I think we are ready for some food coloring. So, my counter's got a little wet, so I'm just going to kind of wipe it down just to make sure that we have a pretty dry surface, because otherwise this will really start to stick to your mom and dad's countertops. All right, so now we're going to add our pink food coloring. Just a few drops. We are going to just mix it in. And twist it all over. This is getting a little sticky to my hands again. So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil onto my hands. So I'm going to dry my hands first, and then I'll add some olive oil onto them. And just a drop. That's all you need. Just add it to your hands, and then it'll help your Play-Doh not to stick to your hand as bad. And since this is cotton candy, I really like to leave it a little bit swirled. So I'm going to pick this one up, just kind of get it back to a little bit more of a playable state. I'm going to grab my powdered sugar, and I'm going to add a little bit more powdered sugar to my pink. It's a little bit stickier than my blue. There we go. And all we're going to do, add a little bit of powdered sugar to this one too, because it got a little bit wet. So we're just going to twist them together. Just twist them. There is some cotton candy Play-Doh. It is super fun to play with, and it stretches really, really, really long. See? Stretchy, it's fun to play with. I think it kind of looks like cotton candy. So that is your cotton candy Play-Doh. So, if you want to keep it from not getting super sticky, all you gotta do is just add some powdered sugar to the top. So that is it for our cotton candy Play-Doh. Now we are going to move on to our ice cream Play-Doh. This one is a lot more fluffy. This one doesn't stretch at all. It just breaks apart. But it's really fun to build with. So what you're going to do is I grabbed a pretty big bowl. It's pretty deep. And just make sure that I don't make a really, really big mess. This one is great if you don't want to use a microwave. And it only requires 2 ingredients. It's just whatever color frosting you want. I'm using vanilla today, so I'm going to add a little bit of food coloring to mine to make it a really cool color. But if you get a really cool color frosting, you don't have to do that. And then I have my powdered sugar. Right. So I'm just going to get all of my frosting out. And get as much of it out as you can. And then set your frosting can to the side. And I'm going to add about 2 cups of powdered sugar very slowly. So I'm going to put about a cup in to start with. About that much. And I'm just going to mix it. Just mix it to all of that powdered sugar is mixing with the frosting. And it's kind of starting to get a little bit stiff. And that's what we want to see. If you don't want to use a spoon, you can use a really big spatula. You can use a big mixing bowl, like if you have an electric mixing bowl. You can use a handheld mixer. And I added about another half cup of powdered sugar into my mixture. Maybe a little bit more, probably close to 3/4 of a cup, actually. Because if you add too much powdered sugar, then it gets really, really hard, and it's really hard to play with. And this one is going to be super sticky. It'll stick to your hands quite a bit. That's just kind of how this Play-Doh is. If you want it to be less sticky, go ahead and add some more powdered sugar. I'm going to add some more powdered sugar to mine. We're just going to keep mixing. And this one is really good to do in the kitchen because this one you're going to have to wash your hands with after you mix it. So, this one is really quick and quite a bit easier than our cotton candy Play-Doh. You'll just keep adding little bits of powdered sugar until it is the right consistency. And then it should kind of look like this, where you can kind of pick it up in your hands a little bit. That's a pretty good consistency. And so I am going to scrape as much frosting as I can off of the spoon. I'm going to add a little bit more powdered sugar to mine because it helps to not stick to your fingers quite as much, but it is going to stick to your fingers. So then all we're going to do, all I'm doing is just picking it up and folding it into itself. Just pick it up and press it down. I think I'm going to have to add even more powdered sugar to mine. That's why we want to add just little bits at a time, because we can always add more powdered sugar if we need to. Right. See what I mean? This one's kind of sticky. My hands are all kind of, they have frosting all over them. But it's really fun to feel. And the Play-Dohs feel completely different. I'm going to add just a little bit more. And I think we are good to go. So the next thing or the last thing that we're going to do for this Play-Doh, see, it kind of sticks together just like that. And then I think I'm going to do some purple ice cream. If you're using liquid food coloring, you need about 5 drops. If you're using gel, I use about that much food coloring. So just a few squirts. Mix it up. If you need to, add some more powdered sugar, because it is pretty sticky still. Now I'm going to marble mine a little bit, so I'm going to leave some white in there. I'm not going to mix it all the way, because I think it looks pretty cool. And then it looks like you have swirls in your ice cream. You see my swirls? There's my ice cream Play-Doh. I got my scoop. Grab a scoop of ice cream. And there you go. There's some ice cream Play-Doh. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did making these with you today. If you make these, make sure you leave a comment in the video and show us pictures of how you made yours. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.